Good evening. I'd like to call to order the July 7th, 2022 Board of Education Reorganization meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Perino. Mrs. Clark, roll call.
Mrs. Blumenau? Mr. Crescenzo?
Here.
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Mrs. Houston? Here. Mr. Perino?
Here.
Ms. Tobiasen? Here. Mr. Freddie Williams? Here. Pastor Williams? Mr. Mitchell Williams?
Here.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the reorganization meeting agenda for July 7th, 2022?
Second.
First by Mr. Crescenzo and a second by Mrs. Tobiasen. The motion passes. We're now going to move on to the oath of office.
We haven't voted.
All in favor, I apologize. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, I'd like to swear in the new newly elected board members. Mr. Crescenzo, can you please join me? Can you please raise your hand and repeat after me? I, Vince Crescenzo,
I, Vince Crescenzo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of school board member
the duties of the office of school board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you just sign, please? Right there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tobiasen? Can you please raise your hand and repeat after me? I, Rose Tobiasen,
I, Rose Tobiasen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of school board member
of the office of school board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please sign there.
Right here, right?
Yes,
What do you have? Do you have Rose? Yep.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are going to do our nominations for president. May I have a nomination for the president of the Board of Education?
I nominate Rose Tobiasen.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second on that.
Do I have any other nominations? Hearing none, I'm going to do a roll call, so please state yay or nay to appoint Ms. Tobiasen, President of the Board of Education. Mrs. Blumenau?
Yay.
Mr. Crescenzo?
Yay.
Mr. Gomez?
Yay.
Mrs. Houston?
Yay.
Mr. Perino?
Yay.
Ms. Tobiasen? Mr. Freddie Williams? Mr. Mitchell Williams?
Yay.
Thank you. It passes unanimously. Congratulations. Can you please come up and take your oath? Can you please come up and take your oath for president? Okay. Please raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Rose Tobiasen,
I, Rose Tobiasen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of President of the School Board
of the office of President of the School Board
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
You see my hand is shaking.
Thank you. May I have a nomination for Vice President of the School Board, please?
I nominate Mr. Freddie Williams.
I second the nomination.
Okay. Do I have any other nominations? Hearing none, I'm going to again do a roll call. Please say yay or nay to elect Freddie Williams as your Vice President. Mrs. Blumenau?
Yay.
Mr. Crescenzo?
Yay.
Mr. Gomez?
Yay.
Mrs. Houston?
Yay.
Mr. Perino?
Yes.
Ms. Tobiasen? Mr. Freddie Williams?
Yay.
Mr. Mitchell Williams?
Yay.
Congratulations. Ready? Can you come up here and do your oath, please? You raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Freddie Williams,
I, Freddie Williams,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties,
of the office of Vice President of the School Board,
say it again,
of the office of Vice
as
President
the
of the
office
School
of
Board,
Vice President of the School Board,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right here, please.
Life away.
Yes. Thank you. Going to turn the meeting back over now to Ms. Tobiasen.
I think you get. Freddie, I think you get to go over there now.
Before I begin, President's name is ill and is not in attendance this evening. However, I'd like to thank Pastor Williams for his guidance, his leadership, and his dedication as board president for the district for the last 3 years. I will be open with the board and the community to continue the progress that we have and are making in the school district. So I thank you. Moving on. On your agenda, we have the approval, the annual appointments. May I have a motion
So move.
to approve the annual appointments of the enlarged city school district of Middletown? I
Second.
have a motion by Mr. Perino,
Second.
second by Mrs. Blumenauer. Any discussion?
I don't agree with all of the appointments, so I will be opposing this.
Thank you, Ms. Houston. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oppose.
May I have a motion to approve the financial memorandum number 1 as presented? I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Cosenzo,
Second on that.
seconded by Mr. Perino. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the authorization to attend conferences?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Blumenauer. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cosenzo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the budget transfers? I need a motion.
So move on that.
Moved by Mr. Perino,
Second.
second by Mr. Gomez.
Yes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion for the approval of the election inspectors for 2022-2023?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gomez, seconded by Mrs. Blumenauer. Any discussion?
Yes. Election integrity is an important issue, and although this is a complete list for the present time and not a hand-picked list, it does not include any new polling inspectors that might come aboard at the Board of Elections throughout the year, nor does it explain which of these inspectors will be chosen, how they will be selected, or by whom. Therefore, I will be opposing this.
If asked, I would just like to make a clarification. On board docs, there was a list of the Orange County Board of Elections with their board, with board members and their families crossed off for clarity.
Oh, no.
It was on board docs.
Yes, I understand it's a complete list for the time being. What I'm saying is, if
understand.
new polling inspectors become recruited, they won't be included, and we don't know who and how and when and why and all of that, that the inspectors will be chosen off of this list. I'd like that clarified during a future meeting. Thank you, President Tobiasen.
Usually all are approved by the board at the time. They are always on our board agenda for approval for the budget votes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Madam-
I need, yes,
Sorry,
sir.
no, go ahead. I yield.
So we have a motion, we had the discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oppose.
Passes. One opposition. May I have a motion to approve the superintendent to apply for grants and aids?
So moved.
Second on that.
Moved by Mr. Cosenzo
Yes.
and seconded by Mr. Perino. Sorry, didn't see you there. Any discussion?
Yes. Just a comment, I will still be voting yes on this, but, and I know Mrs. Creedon, Superintendent Creedon will do her due diligence to research, but grants come with strings attached, so the money that we receive sometimes comes at a price. So I just want to state that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, too fast.
I share the same concerns, and again, I trust and have full confidence in the superintendent making sure and reviewing all that, but always be, my words are that let's always be diligent, that anything that somehow will restrict the community's voice or concerns, that we be very wary about that and not go down that path, and that the community be fully informed what's going on in terms of grants.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I need a motion to approve the school board organization memberships.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Cosenzo, seconded by Mr. Perino. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Moving on, I need an approval of the designated dates for the Board of Education Administrative Retreat, which is scheduled for August 18th, 2022. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Gomez,
Second on that.
second by Mrs. Blumenauer. Any discussion?
only that I may not be able to attend. My husband and I celebrate our anniversary around that time. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the community members for the Audit Committee for the 22-23 school year?
So move.
Any discussion?
Who are the members on the list? I couldn't find that online.
Sorry.
Who are the community members on the
New to
list?
community members are Linda Knapp and Denise Romano.
Is there room for any other community members to be nominated?
They would, yes, I'm sure.
May I nominate Andrew Moore? He was the closest, highest number of votes to become a board member, and I thought that he would make a great contributing member to this committee.
I would support that if this is the, I mean,
Do I have a second? Are you saying a second?
yeah, I would support Andrew Moore. I think he has a lot to offer the community.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of adding a new community member? I'm sorry, I can see the queue.
Wait 1 second. So we are approving Mrs. Knapp, Mrs. Romero, and Mr. Moore.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Yeah, Madam Chair, as I inform the chair, it is my wedding anniversary. I'm traveling, so I will be excusing myself after now. But I do want to congratulate the new president and vice president. It's my hope that this year we can move on in a manner that we will bridge the gap that exists with the many members of the community, that we can move forward and build on the accomplishments our district has done over the years. And remember that at the end of the day, we are Middletown, and that we see it in the diversity of our children. We see it in our community's loyalty and love for our area. And I hope that, I trust that we'll be able to make that difference.
Thank you. Before you go, though, and before I call for an adjournment, on behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to acknowledge our district clerk. So we want to say thank you.
Good job.
What I'd like to do, I need to have a motion for the adjournment of the reorg meeting.
So moved.
Second on that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The reorg meeting is adjourned. All board members received a new layout for board seats. I'm going to ask that you take the folder or the sheet that was given to you Once again, good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of July 7th, 2022 of the Enlarged City School District of Middletown. I need the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Williams, Mitchell Williams, will you lead us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Blumenthal, did you have a moment of silence?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to recognize a moment of silence for a past school teacher and beloved community member, Mrs. Joyce Citron, who passed away over the 4th of July weekend. Mrs. Citron taught in Truman Moon in our district. She was a well-loved, great teacher. She was a strong teacher. Her students shared that at her funeral the other day, some of her students shared that she was a very strong teacher, but she was very caring and understanding, and she connected personally with her students, and that is a trait that is truly valuable. My interaction with Mrs. Citron, she also was a beloved member of our Temple Sinai community. Her husband was a past president of Temple Sinai. She was very involved in the local sisterhood and our local chapter of Hadassah, and so many other supports in the community. So she will be missed, and we wish her family our condolences, and may they have peace in her memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Blumenthal. May I ask you now to read the mission statement?
The mission of the Enlarged City School District Middletown. We strive to provide fiscally sound educational opportunities in a safe environment that continuously supports our diverse student population. We will enable all students to graduate, to reach their full potential, to become lifelong learners, and to be competitive, productive members of society.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Clark, may we have roll call?
Mrs. Blumenau,
Here?
Mr. Crescenzo,
Here.
Mr. Gomez, Mrs. Houston,
Here.
Mr. Perino,
Yeah.
Ms. Tobiasen,
Here.
Mr. Freddie Williams, Pastor Williams, Mr. Mitchell Williams.
Here.
Thank you.
I need an approval for the agenda for the July 7th, 2022
So
meeting.
moved.
Moved by Mr. Crescenzo. I need a second. Second by Mr. Freddie Williams. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I need an approval of the minutes for the June 16th, 2022 meeting.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Perino. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Blumenthal. Any discussion?
Yes. I have no problem with the minutes, other than to say that although it might not be illegal for us to just keep a record of votes, I feel a written transcript of the exact verbatim is more with the times if we're not going to use the video as a record, because that's how most municipalities do it these days. And I think that it leaves for a more accurate portrayal of what goes on at our meetings. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on, I need the approval of Personnel Memorandum 1A Administrative. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Crescenzo, seconded by Mr. Perino. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
Motion passes with one opposition. I need an approval of Personnel Memorandum 1B instructional.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Perino,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Cosenzo. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need an approval of Personnel Memorandum 1C instructional. Moved by Mr. Perino. Second by Mrs. Blumenau. Any discussion?
Same as the other meetings. I'm voting no on this because we do not have a curriculum committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
Motion does pass. I need an approval of Personnel Memorandum 1D, non-instructional. Moved by Mr. Perino, seconded by, was that you, Mr. Williams, Mitchell? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I need an approval of the letter of understanding for the Director of Personnel and Inclusion. Moved by Mrs. Blumenau. A second by,
A second.
second. Thank you, Mrs. Houston. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item F, approval of letter of understanding and educational program account manager.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Cosenzo. Second by Mr. Perino. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We do have a recognition tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Houston.
Good evening. Taking the time to appreciate the qualities of each member of our community is what we live for. One of the things, anyway. The Enlarged City School District of Middletown would like to honor one of our alumni, Mr. Dave Weltman. Mr. Weltman is our unofficial school district historian. He manages multiple social media pages, keeping people in touch with one another and informed of events and news in our community. I had the pleasure of meeting him as he played the French horn at one of our sunrise Easter services at my church, but I had the most wonderful time interviewing two of his former teachers, Mr. Bruce Hampshire and Mr. James Giroux, who know him quite well, and found out a lot more details about this wonderful Middletown diamond in the rough's attributes. Mr. Weltman has an amazing mind, a photographic memory, and has attended every single music concert within the district, even the online concerts during the pandemic. Mr. Weltman is well-versed in music. I found out he has perfect pitch and has learned all instruments, even percussion. He has taken time off of his work to help within the district with all kinds of activities, including concerts and parades, and keeping the music sheets organized for many years. This is what has led to his most recent endeavor, uncovering and rediscovering our Middletown alma mater, or school song, which was sung by our MHS senior chorus on graduation night. He worked together with Mr. Bennett and Mr. Johansson, who were very excited to know of this honor for Mr. Weltman. This act exemplifies another example of Midi pride, and we are so proud to honor him tonight and present him with a certificate. And the Board of Education will be presenting you, Mr. Weltman, a plaque when it's ready. They're still working on it to make it just right. That has the words to the song that you have brought back to life back here at Middletown High School. So on behalf of the leadership of the district, thank you, Mr. Weltman, and please come on up. And do you want to take a picture?
Yeah. You want to hold the bang? Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Weltman was speaking with me in the hallway before the meeting started, and he told me that he would like to request that the alma mater be sung at every graduation from here on in, that he was sad that it had been lost in the first place. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Houston. Moving on. Recognitions, announcements, and community reports. I'd like to remind all of the board members to please adhere to the 4 minutes. I will start. May I put you on the spot, Ms. Houston?
Certainly, President Tobiasen. I have a very short, very brief community announcement, and that is to announce today is National Take a Walk Day with your dad. And I just want to wish all the dads in the school district a happy Father's Day, and thank you for all that you do for your families and all the father figures out there, the gentlemen who step up to the plate for youngsters who maybe don't have the same opportunities as their friends. So thank you, dads.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perino.
Thank you, President Tobiasen. The Humane Society, I'm a member of the Humane Society, and by the way, you don't have to own a pet to be a member. It's a great organization. They wanted me to make a couple of announcements regarding summer pet care. Please, it's very warm, very humid at times. Give your pets plenty of cold water, cool water. Don't leave the pets in a car. They're very, very important. Even if you say, I'm just going to be a few minutes, you never know how long you're going to be. The interior of an automobile gets very, very warm when parked. So word to the wise, and in the hot weather, please bring your pets inside. So that's it, and also see that your pets are up on their vaccinations. And the second item, summer reading. Very, very important that parents, you start a summer reading program with your children, and also for the students who might be watching, consider reading this summer. The United States ranks 18th in reading of all industrial countries. Not good. In the future, reading is going to be necessary for just about any position. The technical manuals today get more and more complex. You need those basic reading skills. Pursuant to that, I spoke at length with the Thor librarian, children's librarian, Victoria Turner, and we're going to have some more meetings as time goes by. Wonderful programs. We have them at our place, and there's some as you come in. They just have a raft of programs for the summer. Open the possibilities, reading Open the Possibilities. Consider joining some of these programs, becoming involved. If necessary, go down to the media center, go down to the library, choose some books. You can also call them at 341-5470. They're very easy to speak with, believe me. Children's Library at Thor. Moreover, the summer school program, we have a number of our media centers open: Munhagen, Maple Hill, Middletown High School and Carter. There's no excuse not to read this summer. It's a very enjoyable experience. Get under a tree, get in a hammock, and read a book. You can improve your skills. Thank you.
I'm going to switch back over to this side. Mr. Cosenza?
I don't have anything today, but maybe you can explain why I'm sitting here all by myself.
Well, Mr. Williams isn't here, John Williams. Pastor is,
Okay, thank you.
and Mr. Gomez left. No, nothing you said at all. Back to you, Mitch Williams.
Thank you, President. For me, I want to just, as a community member, I just want to congratulate the graduates of 2022. For me, it's just very special, as my daughter was graduating in that class, and this is my daughter who was born in Middletown, so I watched her go through the whole thing, and it's like, you know, I speak about it takes a village, and I kind of wanted to name some people that was a part of that village of her journey, because it wasn't just me and my wife, Miss Ebony from Dance Diamond. I had her from when she was about 3 years old. We had Raylyn and Nikki. They from when she was about 5, you know. Brittany from the YMCA works the leadership, where she's able to talk about things that she might not be able to talk about with parents. Taylor and Shay as far as cheerleaders. John Merchant, Kevin Durales, Sean Thomas with the Beat the Streets program. Now he does the volleyball. And it's just, and also a bunch of administrators, as well as teachers and parents. For me, it was like, once I came here, it was like, let me dig in, let me get involved, let me get with the right people. They became a part of my family, so it's not just me. And that's where that whole village came from. Now, I had sons that grew up here as well, and members of the village was a little bit different, but it was still the same village, same go-to. So I encourage everybody, if you're here, get connected. Those same people I just named are still here, and they're still doing it. So I just want to thank them and just thank this community for the support. That's it.
Thank you, Mitch. Ms. Blumenau.
Thank you. I want to echo the congratulations to our class of 2022, and also just thank the staff and the city of Middletown and the town of Walk Hill for their involvement in creating a really memorable graduation, packed house graduation ceremony this year. Thank you.
Mr. Freddie Williams.
Let me see. So I have some images for Vesh. If you could put up the images. I don't know what order it's going to be in. Yep, so this is an event happening this Saturday right here at Fowler Field. It's going to be a kids combine from 11 to 12, free. Send your kids out, come out and do a bunch of drills led by a bunch of good coaches and mentors right here on Fowler Field. This is Saturday. The combine starts at 11, and it's going to be followed up by a round robin tournament with the City of Newburgh Police Department, Middletown PD, that jumped, Middletown PD, the Middletown school staff, and also,
It's back, I think.
oh, he put it back up, okay. And the Middletown school staff, Orange County Sheriff's Department. Middletown school staff won last year. They beat MPD in a really good competitive game. So this is gonna be good. A day of music, food, and fun, bring the whole family out. We'll have the concessions open, so it's gonna be a really good thing, and the weather's working out for us. So we are blessed to be having this Saturday, right here at Fowler Field. And you can go to the next session. And this is a Wednesday night league put together by Middletown Youth Sports. Ages 8U, 10U, 12U, and 14U, co-ed. It's more of an instructional league. It's, you know, the competition should be good, but we're gonna do a draft type style and have all the kids. So, you know, kids that are more seasoned with kids that are just starting, we're gonna equal out the teams. So this starts actually Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, the 13th, starting at 5:30. So this is good for a lot of kids that, you know, flag is, you know, pretty booming right now. So a lot of kids that want to get involved, you know, if you want to register them, it'd be great for the experience for them to come on out. You can go to the next one. And this is a celebration for Lydell Henderson for placing first, right, custodial through Centers. Centers was the organization, right?
That's correct.
So this is this Sunday, July 10th, 1 through 5 at the Old Area Restaurant. It's a celebratory event for Lydell. Great achievement, 34 years in the district. You know, a really stand-up guy, and I always say I'm biased because he's my cousin. So this is this Sunday, 1 to 5, and I want to give a special thank you to Brad Hasbrook for putting forth the effort and energy with this event also. And I just want to give a couple special thanks to the MHS Athletics, Dave Coates and Kevin Gleason, and the Middletown Youth Sports family, Everton Brown, my brother Mitchell Williams, John Merchant, and Denise Romero for putting forth a lot of energy and helping get these events going. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you,
I thought I was going to
Freddie
go 4
Williams.
minutes.
Again, I just want to extend my thanks to the entire board for their confidence, and to the community. Please be assured that I will try my very best to continue the progress and the growth that the district has made. So again, my thanks. Yes,
Something, I'm sorry. During the graduation weekend, I was riding my bicycle. I left on June 24th and came back on the 26th. I raised money for ALS research, and we ride from Boston to Greenwich, Connecticut, and it's about 287 miles over 3 days. And what made it special for me is that one of our beloved teachers passed away from ALS a few years ago, Robin Geiger. And on the last day of the ride, we enter into Greenwich, and we have a big celebration. And before we do that, I have a special jersey that I have the names of family members, friends of friends, cousins, uncles, and Robin's name is on there also. So I put those, I have probably about 25 names on there. And I put them on there to honor their memory, to honor their passing, and so that their names aren't forgotten. So, and a number of people here supported me, and I really, truly appreciate that. So thank you very much.
thank you, Mr. Crescenzo. We have now come to the part of the agenda where it is the opportunity to address the board. I just would like to remind everyone that they need to sign in at the podium. And basically, in order to honor everyone's time, we ask that you keep your comments to 4 minutes or less. And I also like to remind everyone that the board does not engage in dialogue. We are here to listen to what you have to say. Do I have anyone that wishes to address the board? Thank you. Good evening. Let's see if your mic is on. Thank you.
Better?
Absolutely.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Williams. I am a resident of Middletown, the grandparents of past and current students in the Middletown School District. This evening, I would like to address the board about something that happened on during the June 16th board meeting. It's not the first time that this comment was made. Hopefully, it will be the last. While we were discussing concerns of the community members, of brown and black community members, of what's going on with the school board within the school district about our instructors and administrators in the school board that are of color, many who are no longer here, but that's here and there. Mrs. Blumenauer made the comment, not just then, but at another meeting, that this was, and I quote, nonsense. At first, the first time she said it, I said, The second time I said it, I said, well, I question if she's not only displaying her true beliefs and possibly the rest of this board's beliefs, that our concerns are nonsense. I would hope that she would be sanctioned for that. Furthermore, another desire that I would like to see is I would like to see the New York State Department of Education come into the Middletown School District and do a deep, thorough, intensive investigation on your recruiting, your hiring, your practice, firing, probationary periods, the whole gamut on all of your instructors and administrators of color who are no longer here and who are about to get kicked out of here, but yet, however, have managed to obtain employment elsewhere. What I'm saying is basically what I believe everybody just about in this community, because it's interesting that also in the last meeting, we had a retired Caucasian teacher who expressed the same concerns about how they have been bullied in the past by this school board and how you have intimidated people throughout the years. So once again, I would like for whoever in the community is interested in joining me and requesting that this school board and its superintendent be intensely investigated, and those that have been your victims, that they be interviewed. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pamela Rollins. I stand before you once again because I still believe that this is an invisible noose, that this is a witch hunt. And I do believe that there are some of you that are sitting on this board that know what's getting ready to take place if you terminate Mrs. Catherine Williams, that I know you know within your heart that what you're getting ready to do is not right. There was a young lady at McDonald's the other night, and as she rang out my husband's meal for $10.59, I believe it was, he gave her a $20 bill and 59 cents, and she did not know how to give him the correct change back. Is this what we are turning out? And you are terminating our A1 teachers.
Yes. Yes.
15 and 16-year-olds that don't know how to count unless they have a calculator in front of them. And even with the calculator, she proved that she couldn't count properly. Sad state of affairs. My other concern is directed to Mr. Coach Mitch Williams. I'm very deeply saddened that you, as a Black man, because of my comments a few weeks ago, decided to call around to some and ask who was going to check me and silence me in this climate as they are shooting us down in the street like dogs. And you, as a Black man, called around, yes, sir, because I received the phone calls. I received the phone calls. So I decided to call the state because I didn't feel like I would get any help here. And they gave me some options. And it was said to me, if I perceive it to be a threat for you, to be a threat to me, to go to my local police station and file a report. I didn't think I could be any more disappointed, but I come to find that I am. And then I sit here and I listen to you talk about how it takes a village. It took a village before you were born. That's where the term Big Mama comes from.
All right.
And yet, Big Mama has evolved into stand up, Mrs. Williams.
That's right.
We're no longer wearing big dirty dresses and dirty aprons. We're highly educated. That's what Big Mama looks like now. And I would prefer that my daughters and my grandson be in her presence. At least I know that they would be in a safe place. To Mrs. Blooming now, it's not nonsense, it's nuisance. because we'll never see another white man put his knee on the neck of a black man, but we are being shot down in the street like dogs. And we want more for our children. Every child. And if you look at me, you can tell I have a whole lot of different color on the inside of me, but yet I'm still a black woman. And I'm highly disappointed in you, Coach Mitch, that you will call around and ask who's gonna check me and silence me in the world that we're living in. Thank you for your time.
My name is James Rollins. I am a minister in this community, as well as former president of the Middletown NAACP, as well as the City of Middletown School Board. I sent for some information. I asked our school superintendent to send me some demographic data. It's based on 2 questions. I'll get right to the point. I asked for a demographic breakdown of the entire school district's students and all employees. I asked for the dropout rates as well as the graduation rates for the last 4 years and the turnover rate for administrators and teachers. I got that information, so thank you very much, Superintendent Creedon. I did notice that I'll address the first question that I had, the demographic breakdown. There are approximately 6,798 students in this entire school district. Of those 6,798 students, 90% of them are identified as other ethnicity. I don't know what that means. I can make an assumption that it includes Black, Hispanic, and perhaps others. Okay, 709 students out of the 6,798 are white. And so when I begin to look at these kind of questions, look at these numbers, I then went down because we're jettisoning Black teachers, and it is a real travesty. And when I look at it, the numbers don't lie. I believe there's former school board members back here. I've been fighting this for 20 years. The last 3 administrations, I have addressed this issue, and it still has not gotten better, which is why my comment at the last meeting that we will not allow tokenism nor gradualism to masquerade as a solution to systemic racism. It is not going to happen, not on my watch. Having said that, data doesn't lie. There are 702 teachers in the Middletown School District. 573 are white. 129 other ethnicity. So that allows those who are even in, some may not identify. When I look at the numbers, I am glad that when I heard the numbers referencing what had taken place in terms of new hires, but I will tell you the numbers that jump out, the highest number of employees are in food services, great blue-collar jobs, liaisons, aides, monitors, and security guards, 69%. And of course, the school administrators, they've done a decent job there because there's a 44% percentage of other ethnicity. Let me put it real succinctly. There are 1,460 total employees in the Middletown School District. 977 of them are white. 483 are other ethnicity, or 33%. So when I say that, what I'm saying to you is that, in this district, I need to ask the question, because with the jettisoning of minority employees and teachers, is the district overstaffed? Is the district neutral in employment, or are we understaffed? What is the cost of turnover? And I'm not talking about dollars and cents. I'm talking about how you quantify the cost of the institutional knowledge and the cultural understanding of those who actually know these students and the students know them. What's the cost? What is the cost? Because it's not just dollars and cents. When you throw a few dollars at a situation, when you throw a few pennies at a situation, that's gradualism. I've been asking about this for 20 years, and we still don't have the minority teachers. I was told we couldn't find qualified minority teachers, yet we are firing them at will. And so what I'm saying to you now, I will say it to you, in a recent anecdotal study, 2% of the teachers in America are African-American men. 2%. And we just shipped one off to Newburgh, which I don't understand how he met the qualifications there and didn't meet the qualifications here. Okay?
Thank you for your comment.
Okay,
Bishop.
and I'd like an extra minute or two, ma'am.
I'll give my time.
We
2% of the teachers in America are African-American men. The studies show that teachers, according to the study, that African-American men
Can you please
are,
put 1 minute on the clock for Bishop Rollins?
Excuse me. I think that I'm losing. And let me do Auntie Maxine now. I'll reclaim my time because I thought it was the president that actually governs the meeting.
We put it back on, but may I also ask the audience, I understand, but by some of the side noises, it does take away from the speaker. So
Okay.
just please.
The clock is
Thank
still
you.
moving for President Tobias, and I'd like to be able to complete
All right,
what
we'll
I'm
give
saying
you one
because
more
it is
minute, sir.
critically important, okay? And if the time was given, it should be another 4 minutes, not 1. Okay. 2% of teachers in America are African-American men. African-American men are more likely to engage in additional activities to benefit their students outside of their work in the school districts, the study shows. I've asked this question for the 4th time on the record. U.S. News and World Reports ranked Monhegan Middle School 914 out of 1,218 New York middle schools. And so I will also echo the sentiments of our board member, John Perino, who I've known, who says that America's reading scores are 18th. I just heard that. And so how does that coincide with what we are doing about these low scores? Now, when I talk about this, I'm saying to you, I want to reference Ms. Yaya Whaley Williams is not losing her job because of something she did. She's not losing her job because somebody called a board member a name. Her professionalism and talent have been ignored, as illustrated with the complete passing by and not even considering her district administrator tenure candidate portfolio. And I'd ask, have any of you seen this from any other candidate who actually said that they should receive?
Thank you, Bishop Rollins. We
Okay.
gave you the additional time.
This is an irresponsible slash and burn approach to managing the district. I believe there were forced resignations, Mr. Anthony Williams, Omar Perez, and others. The continued cycling through of employees of color tells marginalized members of the community that they are not welcome. I think sometimes some people feel that they're tired of hearing about this and the proverbial race card.
Bishop
But I
Rollins,
will say to
please,
you, and
thank
I'm
you.
stopping here, I will say to you, I'm tired of living it.
Thank you.
Good evening. For those who know me and those who don't, my name is Errol Odom, also a past president of the NAACP. I tried to retire quietly from my 9 to 5 a year ago. My phone seemed to be blowing up on things that really have me upset, disappointed, and you swear people in with oaths that need to find out what the state oaths are for the schools in New York State. I need to understand something. Out of all these people here, if they wish to turn their time to somebody, is there a problem with that?
Yes, we allow each individual 4 minutes, sir.
I understand that, but someone wishes to turn their time instead of having all these people stand up here and speak what's on their mind. You're telling me they can't do that.
4 minutes for each individual.
I understand what you're saying, but what are the rules? Because I'm very disappointed in what I've been hearing. We talk about the oaths. We talk about different things that's going on. Let me give you a little hint. I was dubbed the troublemaker. Okay? This attorney behind me would tell you that. I'm a troublemaker to people who's not doing what they're supposed to do. And I've been hearing a lot of things. I'm very disappointed. And here's a brother who does his research, makes calls. He doesn't go by what hearsay is. He researches and not allowed to speak. My question to all of you, what is your agenda? Is it a hidden agenda we need to know about? Because what's going on and what's happening to people who look like me is really bothering me. I've seen quality and qualified teachers lose positions here in our school district for reasons that's absurd. So maybe you could explain to me, what is your agenda? Because it isn't the agenda of the school district here. With that being said, I've been walking around talking to certain people on the board, giving them a chance to talk to me. I see what they did to Pastor Rollins, okay? I want to know, what is your agenda? Simple question. Know what the rules and regulations are of the school board before you start making up rules. Because like I said, Bishop Rollins, he's been doing his homework. And the side that I'm on his side. Because y'all are not answering questions. I came a couple of weeks ago and heard something that was very disturbing. And not one of you addressed that issue. We're gonna see. I guess you'll be calling me a troublemaker too.
Good
If I may, before you proceed, a school board meeting is a business meeting held in the public.
It's a taxpayers meeting.
You talking to me
May I finish?
specifically, or are you talking to the room? I'm just asking.
We're holding your time. You're not moving on. It's a business meeting held in the,
You're not supposed to be responding, you said.
and the Board of Education does not respond. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Hoffler Moore. I am the wife of Mr. Andrew Moore. I recently sent an email/open letter to the Middletown City School Board on June 28th, and prior to 2 days ago, had not gotten a response from anyone on this board.
The letter will be read.
Excuse me, you are not supposed to respond, so I would like my 30 seconds back.
But I just wanted to let you know that your letter is going to be read.
Okay, so you can pause the clock. So I'll just read it to everyone in this room. Greetings. I recently read an anonymous post on the Middletown Schools Community and Fundraising Facebook group from what one could only but easily assume was drafted by someone that works within this district, because it divulged very detailed information about the current employment status of Mrs. Yaya Whaley Williams, denouncing any racial motives behind the recommendation to remove her from her position while sharing private information about her ongoing battle to preserve her tenure as an eligible educator within this district. The end of the anonymous post/public attack against Mrs. Williams ended with a question geared towards the members of this community, such as myself, that have relocated here from the city. We were asked rather brazenly, why move here? If we don't like the politics of this town, why move here? When I read this posed rhetorical question, I immediately began to think about the series Them that premiered in April of last year on Amazon. For those of you who haven't seen it, the critically acclaimed show is set in 1953 and follows a black family who, during the Second Great Migration, moves from North Carolina to an all-white neighborhood in Los Angeles. The family's idyllic home slowly transforms into the epicenter of evil forces, next door and otherworldly, that threaten to haunt, ravage, and destroy them. You see in the series, the father is a well-educated man looking to start a new life for his deeply traumatized family, only to find himself bullied as the first black engineer at his company and tormented by the neighbors of his then all-white community of East Compton. His well-educated daughters are mishandled at school by the teachers and peers, and his wife, suffering from depression after being raped, beaten, and witnessing the murder of her only son, is hit the hardest by the blatant racist attacks on her family while trying to make a home within her community. Unsuspecting victims of some good old-fashioned redlining, the family is also tormented daily by a band of Karen Stepfords seeking to provoke and dehumanize them while maintaining a false pleasantness towards each other. Even the dog gets it. Now, this may seem like a beautifully crafted piece of fiction for most of you, but this is a factual, frustrating, classic American horror story for many people of color. Them overflows with Black American trauma from the beginning. They are met with overwhelming hostility and vitriolic hatred. But this determined husband and wife couple agree that they're not going to run anymore, gritting their teeth through the white noise. Why move here? The family in the series reminded me of a little bit just of the Williams family back there. Mr. Anthony Williams, a Hall of Fame inductee at his former college, is also a well-educated man of color who was recently run out of his job here in the district. His wife, Yaya, an Ivy League graduate, is being told she is unfit for her position because she took too many days off from work during a global pandemic, 12 out of her legally and contractually permitted 15 days to be exact. Their special needs daughter is being mishandled and, if I dare say, neglected by the same people in this district who claim to be dedicated to serving the young scholars in this community. Their lovely new home forced into distress, just like the family in Them. Why move here? My husband and I moved here about 1.5 years ago in the middle of the global pandemic, just like the Williams. We spent months building our home from the ground up for our children. I remember feeling a sense of familiarity seeing Middletown for the first few times we visited during the building process. It reminded me of my hometown in New Jersey, in good and bad ways. Anyone with eyes can see that there is a serious drug problem here.
May I ask
I will not be stopping. But those same eyes are forced to acknowledge the overall beauty and potential this town has to offer. I'm almost done. I was originally very excited when our children started matriculating at PPE this past fall, only to discover this community is diverse in population and not in power. I had and still have many complaints, from the teaching staff afraid to speak up for fear of retribution, to the wildly unhealthy routine hot dogs being passed off to our children as a healthy protein option, to zero food allergy monitoring during school lunch. My son has several food allergies, and none of the teachers or administrators that work in the lunch program have monitored them, and I have had several conversations with them. Fridays, leftover lunch being served to our kids on Mondays, the school bus bullying to new school bus drivers getting lost with a bus full of our children on the other side of town.
May I please ask you to finish?
The adult school bus monitors sharing their drinks with small children on the bus, which is especially infuriating during the age of COVID, to the backdoor dismissal of acts of sexual harassment in the schools, the absence of a stepping up ceremony for 5th graders, and our son transitioning from kindergarten to the 1st grade, to the militarization of the high school atmosphere, to the brutal fights in the middle schools, to my daughter who was previously honored every single year.
Thank you.
with
I
Student
wish
of the
you
Month
to finish.
every single year at her school in Queens, being mistakenly placed in a rudimentary, more remedial class after transferring into PPE. Don't ask me why move here. This is a question being posed to any person of color who discovers room for improvement in this district. This is the question being asked to those who challenge our board members, educators, and superintendent and seek to hold this district accountable. It is a rhetoric especially reserved for those who love the use of coded language.
You have gone over
such
your
as,
time.
It is
Thank
a
you.
rhetoric. You gave the gentleman an extra minute. I'm taking my husband's time.
Mrs. Moore,
it is a
we have
rhetoric
your letter,
especially
and your
reserved
letter
for
was
those
going
who
to be
love the
read.
use of coded language, such as Middletown is not what it used to be, and there are a lot of city folks moving
please
here,
cut the
meaning black
microphone.
and brown. This is a question being posed to the affluent and hardworking black and brown homeowners of this community from the city, keeping this town alive with our millions in tax dollars. We will not be silenced. This is a question being posed to the members of color in this community, like my husband, a volunteer in the local chapter of My Brother's Keeper, who takes calls from students at 1 o'clock in the morning needing advice because they're uncomfortable speaking to the administrators and the guidance counselors that they've been appointed. This is a question being posed to members of this community who helped purchase dresses and suits for several underprivileged children just to
very
go to prom.
much.
This is a question being posed to parents of color with children with special needs and special education needs, asking for their fair share of resources for their children.
Please,
this is
we
a
have asked
question
you and
being
bared with
posed
you.
to mothers of color with degrees from Ivy League schools and from the top
Please cut the
HBCUs in
mic.
this country. Mothers who pour.
Can we please move to the business of the meeting? President,
Pardon me?
I'd like to ask that we move to the business of our meeting.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Please.
Just continue with the business meeting. You can continue with the business meeting. The opportunity to,
I am going to proceed with the business meeting now.
Move to the business section of the meeting, end this. You've lost the meeting.
All right, number
Action items.
8 is the district reports and presentations.
I'm requesting a recess,
I would like,
Madam President. Recess.
Just end, go to the
call
business.
for a recess.
it's enough. Thank you.
All in favor?
Now, you have to get to the business.
Go downstairs.
Yeah, you have to cut this.
This is ridiculous.
I would have let it go on. I would have let her be read.
So good for me with my closed doors. What he did to me was worse than what she's
What's the
doing.
difference?
We taxed us. We pay these taxes.
I would have let it be read.
Right and there's wrong. There's legal and there's not legal, but there's right and there's wrong. They just want to be heard.
Resuming our meeting, I just want to make a comment in the future. Any letters that are sent to the Board of Education, I want to take this time to recognize the value that we as a Board of Education place on developing clear lines of communication. Beginning with our July 21st meeting and moving forward, all letters that are sent to the Board of Education via the district clerk will be acknowledged, and the full correspondence will be available as part of the official meeting record. Moving forward, we will not be reading communications aloud during the meeting. I now would like to move on, and I need a motion for consent to approve action items 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, and 9E. Do I have a motion?
I don't think we took
So
a
moved.
vote, Mrs.
I have a
Tobiasen.
motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Go ahead.
Could you please repeat those? Because I don't even think we took a vote to go back into session.
Hearing, no discussion. All in favor?
Mrs. Tobiasen, you haven't answered my question. Which ones did you say? Because I had packed my bag because I was told that we were leaving the building, and now I hear we're having the meeting again.
Nicole,
So
calm
please,
down.
don't tell
Calm
me to
down.
calm down. After what happened behind closed doors, Mr. Mitchell Williams yelling and hollering at me at the top of his lungs, and I
Please
have to be
cut
quiet
the-
and, no, don't silence me, Mrs. Tobiasen. I've had enough.
Asking them to
This
cut
board
the
doesn't want to hear
feed.
the
9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, and 9E. I have a motion by
Me.
Paula. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Freddie Williams. Any discussion?
the city of Middletown. Therefore, I will be abstaining from the entire financial memorandum, although I would like to vote no on several of them.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you. The motion.
Question, did we do anything with the district safety plan?
Can-
8A? No. Put on that, too. We don't have to vote, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on any of the other motions? All right, hearing none. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 21st. It will be for personnel only.
Mrs. Tobiasen, has the video been cut of our meeting? Because I'm being told that it is.
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
Has the video to the public been cut, or is it rolling?
Can you check, Mike? It should be being live streamed.
Was I heard?
Let's hope not, because you just.
Oh, is it going to be, is the part where I spoke? Because I'll repeat what I said again for I was yelled and hollered at behind closed doors by Mr. Mitchell Williams, and I will not go to the executive sessions because Mr. Vincent Crescenzo has done the same to me in the past, but Mitchell, you topped the cake. So now I'm raising my voice. The community has the right to be heard.
Move to adjourn?
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Oppose. I would like to request security to walk me to my car.